You can grind on your behavior for 30 years, but if the code underneath is running something different, the code always wins. That's why nothing has worked. You bought the course, you made the vision board, you downloaded the app, you wrote the goal, you white-knuckled the new habit for about 3 weeks, and then quietly, you slid back into being exactly who you were. So I want to take something off your shoulders right now. That was not laziness. That was not a discipline problem. You were editing the wrong layer of yourself. You were working on behavior, the surface, when the thing actually running your life sits one level deeper. Your beliefs, your inner code. So this video is not motivation. Motivation is what fails you on day 22. This is an operating manual. 7 steps in order to get underneath your behavior and rewrite the code itself. And I'm going to prove every single piece of it. My name is Vishen. I wrote a book called The Code of the Extraordinary Mind. That book went on to become the #1 book in the world on Amazon. Why? Because that book was compelling. It changed lives. And it was all about the codes in which we run our lives that we are absolutely unconscious about. In this video, I'm going to reveal some of those codes. I'll show you a Harvard study about housekeepers and how they started changing their biology and even their weight with a simple singular realization. I'll tell you about a refugee kid who ended up speaking at Google at the Oslo Freedom Forum after he changed his code. The 7 steps in this video are designed to help you understand a concept called consciousness engineering, which is a framework to help you change your beliefs, change your day-to-day operating system, your habits, your practices, and make it easy for you to go on a spiral of upward growth. At Mindvalley, the company I founded, which runs these tools to over 20 million students in 190 countries, I'll share with you what we discovered about this underlying code. Now, stay till the end. Step 7 is the one that makes the other 6 permanent. Let's begin. The first step is to see the code. Here's the first hard truth. Almost every rule you're living by, you never actually selected. From the moment you were born, your brain was being programmed by your parents, your teachers, your cultures, the media, your religion. I call this whole invisible system the culturescape. And the rules it installs in you, I call brules or bullshit rules. Because you absorbed them before you were old enough to think for yourself, you don't experience them as opinions. You experience them as reality, just the way things are. So now let me ask you a question. What's the rule you've been living by right now that you never actually sat down and chose? Let me give you mine. It's almost absurd. It ran my life from the basement for 30 years. For years as my business grew, I kept myself broke, undercharging, self-sabotaging. I had no idea why. Then under hypnotherapy, a memory surfaced for me. A teacher I'd had as a boy, a kind, lonely man. He was my English literature teacher. Loved him. And some of the things about him, though, installed in me a belief. You see, he was perpetually depressed. We know he had gone through a divorce while he was one of our teachers. He used to be a happy man, and all of a sudden he became sad. He was broke. He had an alcohol problem. I knew this because, well, it was very obvious. But he was such a great teacher, and everyone in the class appreciated him. We just felt sorry for him. But because of that teacher, I installed a belief in myself. To be a great teacher, you have to suffer. So when I became a teacher that I longed to be, teaching online, my subconscious installed that belief. I went through a ridiculously hard time. It was completely irrational that that belief was installed by a confused child, and that belief affected my bank account. You see, our subconscious minds install beliefs while we are kids, and these beliefs are designed to keep us safe. Every child in their head has a meaning-making machine, beliefs which are installed to help the child make meaning of the world. Why did this teacher we love suffer? Well, because to be a great teacher, one must go through suffering. But those beliefs stay with you at the subconscious level, even as you get older. And that belief forms a little voice. You have these voices too. These voices might say, don't be too much. Play it safe. Finish what you started. People like us don't do things like that. Or money is hard to come by. These aren't truths about the universe. It's inherited code. And there are 5 doors in which it comes true. Watch yourself in these. Childhood conditioning, authority figures, the need to belong, social proof, and your own insecurities. Step 1 is simply this: catch the code, because you cannot rewrite a code you can't see running. Now, here's where this turns from depressing to thrilling, because I can prove to you how much of your physical reality that code is secretly controlling, and the proof is genuinely strange. And the next step is to prove the code. Most people assume your beliefs only change how you feel, but it turns out beliefs do something stranger than that. They reach out and shape physical reality you actually live in. Now, here's the study I promised. 2 Harvard researchers, Ellen Langer and Alia Crum, went into 7 hotels and studied 84 housekeepers, women on their feet doing hard physical labor all day. Now, again, these housekeepers, they were like making beds, hauling vacuum cleaners up and down flights of stairs. They were, moving objects around the room. And these researchers decided to observe them and try to understand how much beliefs affected their body's way of showing up, of being healthy. So they split the group into 2. They told the first group, the work you do is all excellent exercise. You are already exceeding the Surgeon General's guidelines for an active lifestyle. They told the second group, nothing. Same woman, same job, same hours, same everything. Now, 4 weeks later, they measured both groups. The woman who had simply been told their work counted as exercise had lost weight. Their blood pressure had dropped. Their body fat had gone down. Nothing changed except the sentence in their head. Now, this isn't woo-woo. This is Harvard psychology, published and peer-reviewed. And I know it from the inside because it's how I got here. Hypnotherapists have shown that you can hypnotize someone, tell them that they're sitting under a hot sun, and their skin can tan on command. You see, your beliefs are the layer underneath. I call them your models of reality. Now, on top of your models of reality are your habits and routines. They sit on top. I call these your systems for living. Consciousness engineering is made up of your models of reality or your beliefs and your systems of living, the systems and processes, the habits, the techniques, the routines you use in your life. Now, here's the most liberating sentence I can give you. Your beliefs made you, but your beliefs are not you. They were installed, which means they can be swapped. And once you genuinely upgrade a belief, you do not slide back. An iPhone is a computing device. Computing devices like an iPhone are made up of 2 things, hardware and software. Your models of reality are like your hardware. It is the make of the iPhone. And just like a phone upgrade, you can upgrade your beliefs. The maids in that study upgraded a belief they had, a belief that said, I don't have time to exercise, to a belief that said, wow, my work is actually exercise. Now, your systems for living are what you do with these beliefs. It's waking up in the morning and starting your day with a glass of water and Himalayan salt. It's your exercise routine. It's your 7 a.m. yoga practice. It's your gratitude list before going to bed. These are all systems for living. Likewise, smoking is a system for living, a bad one. Eating chocolate at 5 p.m. for an energy boost, that's a system for living, but not an optimized one. Systems for livings are apps. And apps can be good or apps can be bad. You can install useful apps, productivity tools, apps that help you stay connected to your child, apps that help you learn. Or you can install apps that keep you addicted on dopamine hits. Those apps are like installing sugar intake as a system for living. The hardware of your iPhone are your beliefs. The apps are your systems for living, and your body is one sophisticated computing device, and you can upgrade it. This is what we mean by consciousness engineering. But before you start swapping, you need to understand how growth actually happens, because there are 2 roads, and most people are on the painful one without ever realizing they chose it. Step 3 is to choose your road. My friend, the great author Michael Beckwith, taught me 2 words: Kensho, grow through pain, and Satori, grow through insight. Kensho is when life forces you to grow. The relationship ends and your heart gets wiser. The business fails and you find out what you're really made of as an entrepreneur, what to do and what not to do. Satori is the opposite. While Kensho is growth through pain, Satori is insight. It's the sudden realization during meditation. It's the book that rearranges your mind. That one line changes everything. No suffering required. Here is the part that should change how you live. You get a say in which road you grow on. And if you're actually engaged in your own growth, learning, reflecting, journaling, meditating, doing the inner work, attending classes, going to seminars, watching courses, the lessons tend to arrive gently through satori, insight, aha moments. But if you fall asleep at the wheel of your own life, you don't stop growing. Life is forced to grow you. It's like the universe has to sucker punch you in the gut to get you to wake up. The book that I discovered, The Silver Method, led to me getting deep into it, later becoming a Silver Method instructor. That led to me building an app called Mind Valley to put out the Silver Method to the world. So step 3 is a decision. And I want you to actually make it this week. Look at the last 2 years honestly. Was your growth chosen or was it forced? And then put something on the calendar. A book to read, a course, 20 minutes every morning, anything deliberate. Because you are going to grow either way. The only question is whether you pick the curriculum or life picks the curriculum for you. Now, when you can see the code, you know it's swappable. You've chosen the road. Now, what do you point all of that to? Because this is where most people aim at completely the wrong target and lose decades doing it. Now, step 4 is to aim it. There are 2 kinds of goals, and confusing them will cost you your life. I'm not exaggerating. Most people choose either end goals or means goal. The means goal is something you chase because you think it'll get you something else. Get the degree, make the money, hit the title, buy the house. The end goal is the actual destination, the experiences you want to have, the way you want to grow, the contribution you want to make. Here's how lethal the mix-up is. I once met a man who had done everything right. Harvard degree, successful lawyer, the whole ladder. But he was miserable. He had worked so hard at his law firm. His wife had left him. He had made tons of money. He got the gorgeous apartment, but he was lonely. Never became the father he wanted to be. He'd spent his entire life climbing a ladder of means goals and never once asked what was at the top of the ladder. But each goal had a "so that" next to it. Do great in the LSAT and work hard so that you get into law school. Get into law school so that you get the law degree. Get the law degree so that you actually become a lawyer. Become a lawyer so that you can afford a great apartment. And one day I sat with my friend and I said, look, what was the point of it all? Because you're miserable. What were you chasing? And he goes, listen, what I wanted was to be able to live a life where I can make a contribution in the world. To be able to live in a gorgeous home. To have a family. And I'd assumed that being a lawyer was the only way to get there. And it turned out my friend was not alone. If you actually look at studies in Australia and the United States, 50% of people who practice law, 50% of lawyers are clinically depressed because they chased a means goal. So when it comes to goals, you have to ask yourself this: is the goal a stepping stone to something you've never actually named? I built a tool to stop this happening. I call it the 3 most important questions. You sit down with a blank page and you ask 3 things. 1, what experience do I truly want in this one lifetime? 2, how do I need to grow to have them? 3, assuming I was the man or woman who had those experiences and had grown in this way, how do I want to contribute? What do I want to give back to the world? Experience, growth, contribution. Now, the rule is, if you're doing this exercise, write down what makes your soul light up. No shoulds and no means goals in disguise. Nothing you only want because your parents or your culture wanted it for you. Asian folks, like me, this means stop trying to fit into your parents' idea of who you should be. You do not have to be a doctor, engineer, or lawyer. To go deeper into the full exercise for the 3 most important questions, and it takes under 20 minutes, I've released a separate video just on this methodology. You will find it directly on this channel. The full procedure is also in my best-selling book, The Code of the Extraordinary Mind. Now, here is the part that looks like magic but isn't. There's a structure at the base of your brain called the reticular activating system. You are surrounded by millions of bits of information every second, and this part of your brain decides what actually reaches you. It's why the moment you decide to buy a red car, you start seeing red cars everywhere. The cars didn't multiply. Your filter changed. Your noticing got amplified. Clarity works exactly the same way. When you name what you genuinely want, your brain starts flagging the opportunities, the people, the doors that were always there. and that you were filtering out. That's not mysticism. That's neuroscience. And it's why writing this down does something that thinking about never will. Let me show you what that looks like. I had a young intern at Mind Valley once. He was a refugee working at our office in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. On his 3 most important questions, he wrote that he wanted to become a published author, to stand up for human rights, and to speak at great institutions of the world. Now, back then, he had a blog. This wasn't the era when blogging was still a big thing. His blog got incredibly popular, and one day, he was given the opportunity to write a book because of his blog. His book got incredibly popular, and not only did he get that book deal, he got invited to speak at Google. He got invited to speak at the Oslo Freedom Forum. Almost word for word what he'd written on his 3 most important questions. He didn't wish it into existence. He got clear, and then he said yes to the doors he could finally see. Everyone who joins my company, and I employ hundreds of people, they write down their 3 most important questions and stick it on a giant board in the office as a declaration of who they intend to be. But also, it's a really cool way for my team to understand each other and to find allies and collaborators as they go on their goals. See, clarity is not a passive thing, but it cannot help you hit a target you've never honestly named. So now you know what to aim for. Step 5 is how you become the person who actually gets there. And it's the strangest tool I own. The next step is to rewrite it. And I need you to be clear about something first. This is not affirmations. Here's why affirmations fail. You stand in the mirror and you say, I am wealthy. And that little voice at the back of your head immediately says, no, you're not. Have you seen your bank account? You couldn't afford pizza last night. You've started an argument with yourself. And the old belief wins because the old belief has evidence. So instead, I used a technique called lofty questions. Instead of declaring, I am healthy, you ask, why is it so easy for me to be healthy, lean, and full of energy? You ask, why am I building a passive income stream for me to live the type of life I want? You ask, why is it so easy for me to write pages of my book every single day? You ask, why is my skin so healthy, clear, and resilient? You ask, why does my body burn fat so easily? Now, this is the weird thing, okay? Rather than make an affirmation, you actually ask a question. Lofty questions start with why. If you haven't noticed, why? Your brain cannot argue with a question. It's built to hunt for answers. So instead of resisting by changing an affirmation to a lofty question, you are summoning your brain to start seeking. Well, I do enjoy moving my body. I did like that meal. It is a powerful technique. And let me prove it with my own body. January 2016, I turned 40. And I remember on my birthday, I got in front of the mirror and I took off my shirt and I looked at my body and I was seriously disappointed. I'd missed all my health goals. I was chubby. I'd failed my health goal to run a marathon. I'd failed my health goal to lose weight, even though over the past decade, I'd been on multiple diets. I'd hired the fitness trainer. I'd even starved myself for 3 days on some stupid water and juice diet that had no results on me and just made me sick. But instead of beating myself up, I decided, but it was around then that I learned the lofty question technique. I'd learned it before, but I just never applied it. But at my 40th birthday, looking at myself in the mirror, I decided, okay, I'm going to try this thing. And so I started repeating the following lofty question to myself. Why do I have the fit muscular body of an athlete? I didn't declare I have the fit muscular body of an athlete. That would have created resistance. I asked why. And somehow it seemed to sink into my subconscious. About 6 weeks later, almost by accident, I was at a conference in Costa Rica. And I meet this guy, Eric Admides, who had started a nutrition program called WildFit. And he hadn't actually published it to the world. It was just for himself and, his close friends. So I'm at this mastermind in Costa Rica, and Eric was receiving an award because many authors and experts who were in this mastermind had lost weight on WildFit. And after receiving his award, he announced that he was going to do a 90-day guidance for anyone who was interested, completely free. I had nothing to pay and nothing to lose. I decided to sign up. In 90 days, my body transformed. I went from 22% body fat to 14% body fat. And I finally hit my health goal. Now, that was 2016. That was 10 years ago. Today, I still sit at 14% body fat. In 10 years, my body has stayed healthy. And based on my longevity markers, I'm proud to say I have the body of someone 20 years younger. A simple, lofty question, locked in an identity. That identity caused my body to actually adapt. It also caused me to find the right teachers, find the right trainers, find the right protocols, help me step into that identity. Behavior followed that identity. Consciousness engineering happens when you rescript your model of reality. My model became, I have the fit, healthy body of an athlete. That causes my systems of living to upgrade itself. When you update your phone, you can take on more advanced apps. And I could just take on more advanced eating choices, more advanced exercise choices. But it all starts with upgrading your model of reality. The identity followed, and the behavior followed the identity. That's the sequence. And almost everybody runs it backwards. There's a quick test for whether your question will work. I use the word lofty. Does it lift your energy? Does it put you in ownership of your reality? In other words, is it something that you can control? Does it focus on your future self? T, does it ring true to your values? And Y, does it make you say yes to life? If it does, it will work for you. Now, there's a video I created just on this one technique, lofty questions. And to be very fair, I learned this technique from a mystic in Chicago. And I know that sounds weird. We don't think of Chicago as a place where mystics live, but I swear this is true. Her name is Christy Marie Sheldon. I've not been able to trace her since. But if you want to go deeper in this technique and craft your lofty questions, follow this channel and watch my dedicated video on the lofty questions technique. Now I have to say the hard thing, because it's the only thing that creates real urgency. More than 7,000 people die every hour, and most of them never become who they could have been. Not because they didn't have the capacity, but because they kept filing it under someday. Your time is the one currency you cannot earn back. So the last two steps are not optional extras. They're the difference between watching a video about your life and actually changing it. The next step is to fuel it. Here's the biggest mistake in how you've been taught to chase a better life. You've been told that happiness is the reward you get when you finally arrive. This is exactly backwards. Happiness is the fuel that gets you there. Most people live in what's called the forward gap. You stare at the distance between where you are and where you want to be. This is where you are now. This is our fantasy of the future, the happy future, where you've gotten the love, the money, the apartment, the body. But this is the problem. Most people live in this forward gap. You tie all your happiness to a future outcome. But chasing the future is like chasing the horizon. The closer you get to it, the further it goes. It's a horizon problem. You hit the goal, the horizon moves, and you're still not happy. You just set a further goal. You can spend an entire life one achievement away from being allowed to feel good. The fix is what we call the reverse gap. You turn around and you measure how far you have already come. You think about where you were 1 year ago, 2 years ago, and you look at how much has changed. And this isn't soft, it's measurable. Robert Emmons and Michael McCullough ran a study where one group wrote down 5 things that they were grateful for from the past week, okay? And gratitude, that is reverse gapping. It's thinking about how far you have come. Now, this is what they found. The gratitude group came out roughly 25% happier, 25% from writing what they were grateful for in a notebook, not 25% happier from 25% more money or 25% more weight loss or 25% more sex, just from reflecting how far they had come. I call the discipline of being happy now on purpose daily. Now, to give credit where this is due, this particular technique I learned from an entrepreneurial coach called Dan Sullivan. Okay, amazing guy, amazing writer. You can look this up in his books. In my books, I call the discipline of being happy now on purpose daily blisscipline. And here's why it isn't an indulgent. Happiness in the present is the single greatest performance enhancer there is. Happy people are more creative, more resilient, better at solving problems, and they make better decisions. Now combine the two. genuine happiness in the present, plus a bold vision of your future. That combination is where you move into a stage where it feels as if you're bending reality. And it is the most productive state a human being can be in. So step 6, stop positioning your happiness until you've changed your life. Use it as the thing that changes it, which leaves one problem. Everything I've given you so far is an insight. And insights you don't practice are gone by Thursday. So step 7 is how you make all of it stick. The final step is to install it. You need a daily practice. Mine takes 15 to 20 minutes, and it's built into something I call the 6-phase meditation. It's not about emptying your mind or sitting in pain for an hour. It's 6 specific things in a deliberate order, and you can do it in the chair you're sitting in right now. I wrote a best-selling book about the topic, and the 6-phase meditation has been used by everyone from world-class athletes to R&B stars to famous actors because this technique works. And it's used by approximately 1 million people. You can get the full 6-phase meditation for free by following this channel. I'm about to launch a video where I'm going to teach the technique and give you the guided meditation. So follow this channel and stay tuned. The 6-phase meditation goes through 6 unique scientific methodologies that have been studied and actually have an impact on your happiness levels and your well-being. Phase 1, compassion. You generate a feeling of connection and goodwill towards other living beings because connection is a biological need, not a luxury. Phase 2, gratitude. We spoke about that. Gratitude is living in the reverse gap, okay? Phase 3 is forgiveness. You make peace with someone you're holding a charge against. Resentment's like a stone in the shoe. It slows every single step you take. The first 3 phases are all about present state emotions. The next phase, 4, 5, and 6, are about future emotions. So phase 4 is where you visualize a vision for your future. You see the life you've been building 3 years out in color. Phase 5 is mastering your day. You practice a unique technique where you walk through the day ahead and watch it unfold perfectly. This primes your brain to actually create it. And phase 6 is a blessing. You end feeling supported and held however you personally understand that, so you step into your day from strength instead of anxiety. Now, what I'm actually going to do right now is give you the first phase for free, just to give you a taste of this. And this first phase, which is expansion of compassion, is rooted in lessons from Zen Roshi Buddhism. Here's what I want you to do. Put your attention on your heart. Close your eyes. Now picture someone you love. See them clearly. See their face in front of your mind, as if they're right there. Notice their eyes, notice their nose, notice their jawline, their hair in your mind. And feel the love you feel for them. You don't need them to be in the same room. They could be across an ocean. But just seeing them and feeling that love changes your resilience, enhances your health. Now take a deep breath. And as you exhale, expand that love to fill the entire room you're in. And see that same level of love expanding to everyone in this room. If you're at home, to every member of your household, including pets, plants. If you're in an office, to everyone in your office, even the annoying ones. Now take another deep breath. And as you exhale, feel that love expand to fill the entire city, street, or block you're in, and everyone on that street. The man trimming the hedges. The angry driver tooting his horn. Now take another deep breath. And as you exhale, expand that love to fill the entire city and everyone in the city, all life. Even the annoying drunk on the street corner. The grocer whom you buy your groceries from. The bartender that serves you drinks. Anyone in your city, just pick a few random faces. Now take a deep breath. And as you exhale, expand this love to fill everyone in your country. Yes, even people who vote differently from you or have different opinions. Just feel that love. And now the final phase. Take a deep breath and feel your love expand to fill the entire planet Earth, all countries, all people, all life, all plants, all animals. See the earth in front of you, filled with the light of your love. And for many of you, this light might have a unique color, light blue, pink, whatever it is. Just see that light, see planet Earth. That's it. Open your eyes. That's just phase 1. Takes a few minutes, but studies show it actually calms you down. And this effect of calming you down can be measured in terms of HRV. Your Aura Ring measures that. And you should see an HRV boost that lasts the entire day. This is what the Heart Rate Institute has proven. Now, that was just a few seconds. But notice how powerful it felt. Now, imagine what happens when you do phase 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 stacked on top of that. It installs everything we have talked about: gratitude, vision, forgiveness, identity, into your nervous system before the world gets its hands on you. Because most people wake up and immediately hand their mind to their phone, their inbox, the news, and let the culturescape reprogram them all over again every single morning. This practice is how you reprogram and stand firm in yourself first. And when you run this long enough, you end up somewhere most people don't even know exist. So here's your sequence clean. 1, see the code. Find the bullshit rules of rules. 2, prove it to yourself. Beliefs are software. 3, choose your road. Grow on purpose. 4, aim it. Your real end goals using the 3 questions. 5, rewrite it. Lofty questions, not affirmations. 6, fuel it. Happiness first, not last. And 7, install it. A daily practice. So none of this depends on how you feel on a given Tuesday. This is not motivation. That is a method. And the methods work whether or not you feel inspired. So start with step 7. It's the one that installs the other 6. I've made the full guided walkthrough of the 6th phase. I'll take you through all 6, start to finish. It's on your screen right now. I'm going to release a mini course on the 6th phase completely free in the next 2 months. You can also get this mini course when it comes out with the link below this channel where you can subscribe to my newsletter. I write to you 1 to 2 times a week, and I update you on new videos like this, plus new incredible techniques or ideas that I've discovered through the Mind Valley ecosystem. Okay, and when we announce this new course, you will be one of the first to know, and it's completely free. I made it free because the 6th phase meditation is just something I want to get out to as many people as possible. Scroll down below to get the link to subscribe to my newsletter and hit subscribe on this YouTube channel so that you hear about it when it is launched.